Alrighty, welcome back. There has been a huge absence, I am aware. Basically, we've had some technical issues with the gimbal that were resolved last night, and we've taken on this huge workload. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. So keen and so excited to update you guys on what's actually been happening. But basically, since we've managed to get the gimbal fixed and we've got time, well, I don't have time, that's a lie. But I wanted to make time this morning to do a quick video on what we're working on at the moment. There has been and gone a couple of really exciting projects that we've been doing. And unfortunately, due to the technical issues with the gimbal, we haven't been able to record any of it. So I'm super shattered that we missed some of that. Most of it's on our Instagram. So if you don't already follow our Instagram, it's at rsr.works on Instagram. And you'll be able to see all of the stuff we've been working on of late. The JZX90 is gone and XYZ. So I'll update in I guess like a catch-up video, because it's been at least a month, maybe 2 months since we uploaded anything on YouTube. But today is a really exciting day. It's a monumental day. It's a big day. It's a huge day. Basically, we have taken on a really special car collection, and the collector of all of these said cars has some really special Australian stuff coming through. So if you're following from the States and all the rest of it, just jump on Wikipedia and have a look, and you'll see obviously what sort of influence these cars had on the Australian motoring culture. Now, this particular car that we're going that I run through today is probably the most influential, if not one of the most influential cars in Australian motoring history. It had a huge impact, still does have a huge impact, and the prices of these cars in this day and age reflect that as well. So without no further ado, I would like to introduce you to what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to try and pan the camera so you can't see it. But basically, we are working on none other than a genuine VK Group A SS. So this is a Peter Brock special car. For those that know about it, would understand and appreciate how special this particular car is. But basically, this is build number 407 of 500. This particular car was a homologation car, so it's always the most special and the most valuable and the most charismatic cars in the world are always homologation specials, because it is the manufacturer doing everything they can within the rule set that they have for road cars to get their race cars as ready as they can to race. This is no exception. I know it sounds outlandish and crazy, but I've always kind of thought of these cars, especially, you know, a genuine car. There's a million replicas out there, so a genuine car is ultra special. But, you know, I've always really thought that this car is, you know, is Australia's sort of answer, or Australia's alternative, or Australia's version is probably the best way to say it. Australia's version of, you know, a legendary homologation car. You know, you look at the likes of things like, a Porsche GT1 or, you know, a McLaren F1 and all that sort of stuff. Of course, these cars are of a different caliber and a different race league, and that's why they're a different caliber. But none other, those cars had to do the same thing as this particular car had to do. So, you know, it is one and the same to these cars in the method of which how this car was born, or the inception of the concept of this car. There's a number of really cool things about the car. Obviously, this car is a white wheel car, so Peter Brock himself, the Australian racing legend, you know, he wanted all the cars to have white wheels. There was a bit of this and that about it, and then eventually it was made an option. So the white wheel ones are really pure to what Peter Brock wanted and what he envisioned with the car. This particular car, being a homologation, had to have a 4.9 litre V8. The reason being is that they were in the race class that were racing an IE Group A. If they had anything bigger than a 5 litre, they would have weight penalties. So there was a lot of little cool things that happened there. So, engine work in terms of the engine, it's not a standard 4.9. Comes with a Cranes cam in it. They make about 192 kilowatts, somewhere between the front to the back of the car. They make 192 kilowatts. Holden have always been a little bit how you going about their power numbers, but 192 kilowatts in the day and age of this car was unbelievable. It was an insurmountable amount of power for a road car, delivered through a manual transmission as it should be. You know, and the car itself, by today's terms, isn't very big at all, and probably didn't weigh a great deal either. So, you know, given the power to weight ratio and the style of the car, it was obviously designed to be a race car for the road, and it is literally that. You know, it doesn't have a roll cage or anything like that, because, you know, homologation things for that racing league were a little bit different. But this car is entirely original. The paintwork is in immaculate condition. I took some B-roll to show you guys just how nice it is. So this particular collector has a on-site detailer and XYZ who looks after all of the paint stuff and make sure that his cars stay clean. So Basically what we'll be doing with the car is a full underbody restoration with the wheels off, do a little bit of work in the engine bay. The engine bay itself is quite nice. It doesn't need a huge amount of work, so we'll be doing a little bit of wheels off, and there's going to be quite a bit of hand work in terms of detailing certain bits and pieces. There is a bit of moisture down there and a bit of sweat and a couple of oil leaks that we need to attend to in order to get them to be perfect. We're going to spend quite a bit of time on the car itself. Yeah, super mega ultra excited. This is definitely up there in terms of the sort of value of cars that we've been dealing with. The original daily driver from Peter Brock sold at auction just last year for over $1 million. So I would suggest that something like this, given the demand for Australian cars now, would be pretty close to that number. So it is obviously of a significant value, but when you put the money aside and you appreciate the value of the car itself, you can obviously appreciate how much gratitude and how thankful we are to be working on something so special. So I was happy with all of that. So super keen, super excited. I will be filming what I can and taking photos of what I can throughout the process, and hopefully I can keep you guys in the loop so you guys can follow along. It won't be something that we'll be knocking out overnight. It is something that we'll be working through for, I would suggest, at least a week to try and get this thing as good as it should be. So big project, super excited, and I can't wait to get stuck in. So without any further ado, I'm going to get stuck into it, get going on the engine bay. So hopefully we can get some good stuff going through and you guys can follow along.